work in the SFO, I'll give a complicated scenario, not even necessarily as a leader, that may be somewhat obvious. Imagine you're a non-family CEO and basically you have to have a younger generation of the family work inside the SFO. How open and transparent could you be? How tough could you be? I think that would get a little complicated.
Yeah. I've only worked with one family office that had a family member on staff. So I'm not as experienced with it. I think it comes down to the person. I think some family members would treat it, not that they had special privilege because they're in the family, they treat it like the business that it is. But I think if they don't do that, and then it could be very tricky. I just haven't personally, because I'm out in California, so many of these family offices are first gen, new money. They haven't experienced that, okay, now we have a second gen that's going to get involved. It just hasn't happened out here as much as it has in more established markets. So we have really different challenges. I mean, we have challenges of figuring things out for the first time. And I think a more established family office has different challenges and a lot of things that you're hitting on of, an older workforce and things that have gotten stale. Those are different challenges.
Of course. Assuming the family is very clear on decision making and they understand the goals that are important for the family, for the SFO to execute and be wonderful of service on. As basic as that sounds, often that's not even very clear. But let's make the assumption that it is. We have these three core goals, these two a little bit more ancillary, and you need to be great at it. Now the CEO's job is to be the one where the buck stops here, it's on me. But they have people below them that are executing upon the more narrow skill set, legal, accounting, financial. Should they trust in the talent to be able to execute upon that goal with some level of oversight? Should they be very hands-on? Or I believe like General Stanley McChrystal says, I believe you should be eyes on, but hands off.
Yes, I agree more in the latter. Unless you have very junior people, because ultimately that's one of those intrinsic values or motivators for people is to feel empowered. And so if you're always getting involved, or if a leader swoops in, if they watch and then they see something they don't like and swoop in, it ultimately demotivates. Even if the right thing happens in that one specific instance, like you need to let people take a certain degree of risk to learn, and actually you might end up with a better solution. I think tightly controlling everything is a recipe for having a bunch of robots.
Absolutely, that's a challenge. Sebastian Junger, I believe it's pronounced, well-known author, wrote a book on tribes that basically were tribal by nature as sapiens, as human beings. Therefore, not as much loners and individuals, but really the concept of quote unquote working together. Have you looked at that whole concept of a family office that is very small, more mid-size, how they work and collaborate together as a team? Are they friends outside of business, inside in their personal relationships? That's probably more of an organizational psychologist type question, and even anthropology, I would argue, but would love to hear your feedback.
Just in terms of how often I see it, is that the...
Sure, yes.
Yeah. I think the ones I've seen that are the best, they're not necessarily friends, but they're friendly and they do things. They have activities that foster good relationships and trust. I actually think trust is the key to all of this. And I know you have my back and I know stuff about you, not like blackmail. I feel we're connected is what I mean, because we have shared experiences. We did ropes climbing together and you were the person that held my belay or whatever. There are things that I think the good organizations do to build that camaraderie. And one of the companies where I consult, we built a culture team, and we took people from each department to be a representative. And that is the team that comes up with the ideas for what the activities and things that are going to build the culture for the organization. And it's been fabulous because every group is represented. We rotate people periodically off and on the team, and they get to do a lot of fun stuff and come up with a lot of great ideas. And it sounded really simple when I did it. And now I'm just convinced that that's the way to go. Like it's been so successful. People want to be on the team. It's created, and they come up with, and it's people of all different ages and backgrounds. So back to your diversity, we get this richness of ideas that I would never have thought of on my own. It's fantastic.